I mean, ever since I was little, I knew that I should have been a boy.
What surgeries do I need to have first in order to find myself more acceptable and more passable in public?
I went through a period where I didn't want to step out of the house. I was really beating myself up and calling myself a freak, an it.
This whole fad that's going on right now, like with the Caitlyn Jenner thing and stuff, I seriously hope that it doesn't become a fad and people actually educate themselves and learn more about what is going on with somebody like myself or her or anybody else going through the same situation. And that way people stop killing themselves and people stop killing people like myself because we're different. I've reached a point in my life now that I am comfortable with who I am. Even if I wasn't able to, like, come across the money to be able to, like, ever get the operation completely done, I'm comfortable with who I am as a human being, and I don't feel as though I'm incomplete now because I don't have the SRS done. I just think that it would be an added perk now. In the past, it was something that I strived and that I wanted so, so bad. But I think it was just being younger and being uncomfortable with who I was. I guess it was a sense of insecurity on not on wondering whether or not I was ever going to be loved, and I would find myself actually dating men and never allowing them to see me fully nude, because I was always afraid of confusing them. I didn't want for them to be confused. I wanted them to always see me as a female. Um, until I finally realized that I was a female and that it didn't matter what I looked like underneath my clothes at the moment. Who I was who I was, and it wasn't going to change. I wasn't going to become a boy just because I took off my clothes. So, in saying that, I don't think that there's anything, I don't feel like I have to overcome anything. The only thing that I feel like I need to overcome and what I would want is just to try to raise as much awareness as I possibly can, so that way other people can be as confident and feel as comfortable in their own skin as I am.
I wanted to throw the javelin in track, and my coach told me I couldn't do that. It was just for boys. And so I would like hole up in my room sometimes, like, kids do, and I would write. And I started writing about this guy named JT, and he had the life that I wanted. He had the same friends, um, but he played the sports that I wanted to play. I really wanted to play football. And so when I came to Texas, I was ready to play football, and girls couldn't play football. So I created this character that could do everything that I wanted to do. Whether play sports, whether date the girls that I wanted to date, or um, be in a rock band. Whenever I would see pictures of myself, I would be so disappointed of what I look like. Um, so I was just really excited to step into the real me, and to see the change that will come. I've already changed somewhat. It hasn't even been 2 years, but I'm waiting for 5 years, when it's really going to look different.
As I first started out, it was the first hardship was actually thinking about, like, surgery and what came along with going up to the point of getting surgery. The site you have to go through a therapist to be able to actually even be accepted to go through the SRS. Then there's, what route are you going to go? Are you going to go laser hair removal? Are you going to go, electrolysis? There's just like a slew of things that you like have to think about. They become overwhelming. I knew that I wanted a nose job. I knew that I wanted to, have breast augmentation. And at that time, when I had decided to go that route, I had already started modeling and making my own money, and then, started dating a multimillionaire, and then, things came a lot easier when the money was there. But on that journey, when the money was there at one point, and then it wasn't there, then that's when you kind of like sit and think, like, okay, I've got all these surgeries done. Now I have to actually pay for that final surgery, which is the big one. So it's been hard. It's been a lot of work. it's been a lot of money out of my own pocket and trying to, find out if there was insurances that would cover stuff, and it basically didn't. Financially, and if we were speaking monetarily, it would probably be about $21,000 to $25,000 that I would still need to come up with myself in order to finalize everything completely. I think that the change that needs to be made is that people need to see us as human beings that deserve the rights that other human beings do. Right now, we're popular, we're trendy, and I mean, just a few years ago, lesbians were trendy, you know what I mean? A few years before that, you know what I mean? The drag queens were trendy, because of RuPaul and stuff like that, and people see us as being a fad. And right now, I think the transgender fad is what's going on. The only thing that I want to come out of that is I want for it, instead of it being a fad, is it to raise awareness that we need we need the same help as everybody else does that we see in everyday life.
It's one of those things, what I see is that there is no finish line in this. Even once the surgery is completed, that doesn't mean that that's the end of it. This is going to be an ongoing life process that we'll both share, for as long as we're together.